Thanks for tuning in to Pillow Talk. It's your girl, Mrs. Jackson, if you're nasty, and my favorite co-host,
Miss Truth. Hi, y'all. I know we were out for a week. Was it a week?
I think we were 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Our apologies. Life happens. But you guys will now get episodes back to back, no matter the issues. Even if I got to record from the hospital, just phone me in and we'll work it out. So how's your week been? Or your past couple weeks?
Crazy. Pillow talking got me in trouble. But all of that has subsided. I guess I was a little bit too open with y'all. But I mean, that's what we're here for. You know, we got to keep the facts. I mean, I'm sitting up here with truth, so it's kind of hard not to be truthful.
Well, they do say, pillow talking, gets niggas in trouble. You ain't supposed to be pillow talking. But we pillow talk over here. We'll just try to, I'm not even going to lie, we're not going to try to fix nothing. It's going to happen. This is just going to be the way that it is.
Honesty is the best policy, always, So, I mean, some can take it, some cannot. But we're open books. And that's all I can say is I'm an open book. It may not be for everybody. All may not understand everything that I do or what I've gone through, but it's made me who I am. For the record, I am a bisexual woman.
You're a bisexual
I
asshole.
am married. I am married to a wonderful woman. And so that makes me a lesbian by default because I'm in this for life. But
you've had experience with men, and that just can't be erased.
Cannot be erased. It's made me who I am.
So you're allowed to speak up on it because you've been there.
And it helps me to find what I do like in my current relationship and what I don't, It helped me find my sexuality, these previous experiences that I've had, and helped me be comfortable in who I am as a sexual individual.
Well, I am a bisexual woman, and I'm married to a man, but that don't make me straight by default. He knows his wife likes women. And there's no secret about it. However, he knows that I wouldn't dive into that ocean without him these days. So if ever that was to happen, we'd have to do this as, team effort.
Well, ain't no swiping going on in my bedroom because she's not going for that.
I understand. So I'm just saying this to say everyone's situation is different.
Yes.
And so when we talk about things, you guys, that don't mean it's going to work for you.
And it doesn't mean we're doing it right now.
Exactly. This is
talking about life.
Experiences, past experiences. Speaking of experiences, we're just going to go ahead, and today we're going to talk about HoeFax. So we're going to talk about how much is too much, or is there really a such thing as too much? And however, while you're playing the field and playing the game, what are some issues you can run into while doing so. So today it'll be a little fun, but also we're going to give you guys some great information. So I hope a lot of you do tune into this show because I know we all are grown and, 20s, 30s, so on. But there's a lot of information that I found out just by this episode and the things we were researching that I didn't know because by the grace of God, I haven't really had to deal with any type of, STD situations.
Hallelujah.
So, there's some things that, I experienced as far as for, pH balance being a little off, had to learn myself and my body what soaps to use, what not to use, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, we're going to give y'all a little bit of everything. So, Casey, do you think there is a such thing as too many sexual partners?
I guess so. You just can't be giving it to everybody who you see and encounter in the world. But, I'm a sexual individual. So, I've had partners, male and female. I'm not going to throw out any numbers, but I've had a few. I got some bodies. Let's just be real. I got some bodies.
And you know what? I appreciate your honesty because there's a lot of people that'll sit there and play, oh, no, I can count mine on one hand.
What JaKCson say? She says she only fucked about 5 niggas, so you got to multiply by 3.
Exactly.
But for real, I have bodies, but I think as long as you're safe and you're protecting yourself and taking the necessary precautions and you're open with your partner and you guys have the open dialogue to discuss previous experiences and where you are as far as even diseases. People are afraid to have that conversation and say, hey, when's the last time you've been tested or how many partners have you been with? If you've been with more than a couple of people, then you definitely need to be a little bit more precautious because that's when you run the risk of, what did Los call it? Flamethrower.
Being a flamethrower. You don't want to be out there
Flamethrower it over there, spreading and
gentlemen.
sending wild fires and stuff, just burning everybody. So, I don't know. I mean, it's subjective. I mean,
yeah, I guess it depends on the person. My whole thing is don't be out there raw dogging everybody. I know I don't know what these new school kids call it, but we called it raw dogging. So don't be out. I understand. Men, you say it feels better. I got you. I understand. However, the feeling you may get after if you don't wrap him up,
that burning,
you ain't gonna want to deal with that, bro. You're gonna be like, fuck, where was the condoms?
Loving good enough to get burnt while
I'm
up in it.
And that latex smell, it's not nice. However, there are other condoms.
Sheepskin.
For those that don't like latex. I can't use latex. I found out I am allergic. That's why I had some of the reactions I had. I am allergic to latex. Aww. Thank God I'm married. We don't have them problems. There's no condoms being used. However, when I was younger, I used to wonder why I would get such irritation after sex. Mm-hmm. I'm allergic to latex. Mm-hmm. Can't use latex. Mm-hmm. That don't mean we got a raw dog. That just means you got to spend a little more to buy different condoms.
Yeah, they have them for everyone. And I think it's worth it. I mean, knowing your body and protecting your body, you can prevent a lot of issues. And I mean, safe sex is actually the best sex. I know with a lot of these millennials, I read an article that their main form of contraception is the pull-out method.
And y'all know how dangerous that is?
So dangerous. So dangerous. Because
it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm married and it's dangerous.
And surprisingly, the number of teen pregnancies went down. It's lower. So pulling out is working as far as preventing unwanted pregnancies.
But our STD rates have went up.
Well, what about the STDs?
Yep.
Exactly.
Now gonorrhea is so strong. Boy, let me tell you.
A beast.
Y'all just better be careful.
A beast. And used to be something that you could just take a pill, get a shot, good. No, this motherfucker right here is resistant to bacteria.
Y'all done gave it some steroids.
Right. On crack. Gonorrhea on crack.
But I agree with Casey. I don't really have a number for how many is too many. I'm sure there's dudes that are like, oh, I don't want no chick who has had more than 5 people. But my nigga, how many have you had?
I mean, how old are we though?
Yeah,
so
but
30 years old
as long
and stuff?
as she comes to you, if you ask her, she really doesn't have to tell you the truth. All you should be asking is, would you be willing to go get tested with me? If you really just want to be safe and you want to be sure, and she's so bad you want to go up in it raw, y'all go get tested together. Y'all can make a date out of it. Go eat after.
Go together.
I mean, unless you get bad news, and then you might not want to go eat. But I'm just saying, that would be the best option. My husband's so funny because in our group, we had the question of when was the last time you got tested? And he was like, it's been a long time. However, me being his wife, I can answer it for him. It was in 2012, honey. It was when we first got together and we both went and got tested. And I mean, all was well. And we've moved on since then. And it's been just me and you. So it's all good.
Yeah. Once you're in a monogamous relationship, I don't think it's really necessary to get tested as often unless your partner is just out there not being faithful and spreading their seeds. Then it might be a little bit more important. But in monogamous relationships, I mean, if you're comfortable with your partner and you guys are open and respectful and faithful to each other, I don't think getting tested monthly, yearly is really necessary. And if you're taking care of yourself when you go to the OBGYN ladies, they're going to do those testings and screenings automatically anyway.
And that's why I told my husband, I said, well, if it's been just me, then you're fine because I get tested every year.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
Draw the blood, the swab, the everything. Ain't no limits. It ain't just the swab. You got to do the blood too because there's some things that they don't test for when you do just a regular pap smear. So you have to request them to test and check for everything.
Yeah.
And so my doctor already knows we're doing everything, Whitney. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and give you this cool little arm first. And then we can go ahead and put them legs up on them little stirrups. I got you.
Yeah, because HIV, I think it was said that they test once a year for that. It's not really necessary. The most common diseases that they test for are chlamydia and gonorrhea.
And syphilis.
And I think HPV in women under 65 just because of the cancer risks. But other than that, like, they're not screening for everything. So that's when you have to be proactive and see, know your status. It's really important.
And also, you guys, don't be afraid to be honest with your doctor. When they ask you how many people have you been sexual with, it's for a reason, because the higher the number is, the more things they screen you for. So that's how you know exactly what's going on. Like, I remember I went to a doctor, and I'm just going to throw it out there. He asked me, Whitney, how many people are you sexual with at the moment? I said 3. He said, I'm glad you were honest and you told me that, because now we're going to do an even more extensive check.
Right.
And I mean, even with, it billing my insurance more, it didn't cost me more.
Right.
And so, I got my little phone call, Whitney, you're free and clear. We don't have to put any prescriptions for you. You're good. However, they test me for like 8 different things. The regular little paper that you get if you just go in there and say, oh, nobody, or oh, just one person. It's going to be like basics. 2 things they check for.
Just those basics.
And those are just the 2 things that could have been laying dormant in you for a while. But if you don't be open and honest with them, then you're not going to know your full truth. So you may be, on the book talking about you STD free and I just got checked. But did you get checked for everything?
And there are so many STDs that are asymptomatic. You can have something and not even know it. It can go undetected for so long. And then all you're doing is hurting yourself because it causes issues with your body when they're left untreated. You might not be able to have kids. When you do get pregnant, you can run into issues with that. You're spreading it to your partners and Lord knows who else. So the peace of mind that you get just by being honest and being forthright and taking those extra precautions to get tested is just priceless.
Smart. Yeah, and it's smart. And honestly, you guys, just put out there, hoes go to the doctor, okay? Porn stars go to the doctor, okay? So you are not going to shock your doctor if you go in there and tell them the truth about how many partners you're with right now. Like, you got to leave that embarrassing shit alone, because what's going to be more embarrassing is if your ass end up having HIV. And because you didn't decide to be open and honest about it, you didn't find out about it. And now you done spread it to 7, 8 people because you decided not to give the doctor your 7, 8 number and let him know, so he can, or her, whoever, and let them know what's going on so they know what to test you for. And no, pap smears will not let you know if you have HIV or any Hep C, Hep B, or HPV.
Blood.
So therefore,
need blood for
ask
that.
for the blood work, you guys. Like, seriously, you have to get the blood work done. It is important. And I hate needles. I can't stand getting blood drawn because I have really small veins. Then I got to sit there and squeeze a little ball, and then they got to tie the little thing on me. Then they like, well, have
poking
you
you
drank enough
10
water?
times.
And I'm like, dude, I drank a whole gallon before I got here because I knew y'all was going to be on
Can't
this
find
bullshit.
the vein.
And so there was one time where they had to just stick it in my hand, and that was very painful.
Ew.
However, I was not leaving that office until they got my blood so I can do my test, because I'm only doing this now. So let's get this all under wraps. And they did it in my hand once, and they weren't able to get a lot, but they got enough to where they can test for what needed to be tested for.
And on the flip side of that, like, think of all the shots and the needles that you're going to have to be exposed to in your lifetime if you just leave it untreated and don't get tested.
I'm just saying, I don't want y'all to end up like Eazy-E now. Just, do the legwork.
What is that song, Romeo and Juliet? First thing that comes to mind.
You are so
Good
funny.
lesson taught from my big homie Easy.
It is the truth. Like, seriously. I mean, I love Eazy-E. His story was very sad, but it should have. I mean, I'm sure
Reality
all
check.
y'all watched Straight Outta Compton. Like, he didn't know. He'd been going this whole time just fucking and sucking and everything else. And then, wham, bam, you pass out one day. You go to the hospital. You got a few moments to live, bruh. Like, it's a wrap. Ain't nothing we can do for you. However, you catch it early, you could be kicking and chilling like Magic Johnson. I'm just saying.
Living for years. I have a friend born with HIV. Hopefully we can get her to come on the show. But she's been living for years with it. She's 30, I want to say she's 33, 34 years old. And she's had a full life, She's traveling. She's an activist. She's speaking, spreading awareness. And she also speaks on the importance of getting tested, knowing your status, and that, most of these STDs, or if they're not curable, they're treatable and preventable. So you don't have to spread it. And you can live a long, healthy life if you take those precautions, get diagnosed, and then start a treatment plan.
And if you have these STDs, you guys, don't be afraid to talk about it with your partner or someone you want to be your partner.
You don't think that's a tough conversation?
I believe it definitely is. However, they're gonna find out eventually.
True. You can't hide it.
I mean, you can't keep sliding, past the radar. But
What's
we'll
done
get
in
into
the dark
that.
comes to the light.
We'll get into that a little later in the show. But just know, it's a must. It's something you have to do. because I be damn.
That's part of openness, though, because if you give me some shit.
Right.
And you didn't give me the choice. I have a friend. My friend got herpes. And she's open. I applaud her for that because she's so open. And she tells everybody, all of her partners, you know, this is what I have. This is how it works. And I think education is key.
Absolutely.
You know, and even informing your partner and letting them know what you have. Educating them so they understand it can go a long way. But she didn't get it by choice, you know. And she says, going into this and going forward in my future sexual relationships and with my partners, I want to give them the option because I didn't have it. And I think that's so amazing.
Smart. And I don't know who that is, but I applaud you for that too. Like, I think that that's really dope that you do that. And I feel like that's how everyone should be.
Yeah.
Like, for example, during my marriage, I'm so glad that I'm educated on this, because if not, it would have been like a major fight with me and my husband, because I'd have thought he gave me something. So there's an STD that also has, you know, some symptoms that you can get without the sex portion. Mm-hmm. And it comes to being irritated by soaps and body washes. And, you know, like, for instance, mine was Gain. Gain has too much fragrance for a woman like me.
Throws off your pH.
I can't use Gain.
Yeah.
And so I was getting irritation. And I was like, what is going, because I pay attention to me.
You know, we talked about that with the Bath and Body Works
exactly.
last show.
I know what my yoni smells like. I know I know her everything. I know her bad days, her good days. I know when something's about to transpire. I know we got a good relationship. So when something is off, I know it's off. And so I was like, okay, before I go off on Mr. Taylor, let me go to the doctor first.
See what's up.
And sure enough, the doctor let me know this is what's going on. Let me ask you, what kind of detergent do you use? Mm-hmm. What kind of soaps have you been using? Mm-hmm. Have you switched your eating habits? Any of this? Mm-hmm. All that stuff plays a factor too. However, if you don't go treat this, ladies, you will then give it to your mate. So just because you decided not to educate yourself on what soaps you can use,
but you should smell that. I know what you're talking about.
You can definitely smell it, and your discharge it's more than
thicker.
Normal.
It's thicker.
And so you got to pay attention to these things, ladies. Like, it is so important. Like, our bodies,
if your discharge is not clear or white,
there's a problem.
Something is wrong.
And even with this, it's white, but it wasn't white and
if it's thick,
smell free. It had an odor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no, bruh. Like, this is not working for me. So, like, that next day, I went did a walk-in appointment, and I was like, I just need to know what's going on down here.
Yes.
And sure enough, she was like, oh, well, you know, we'll have to do the swab. She got the test back. After she got it back, she called me, and she was like, well, it really looks, she was like, have you switched your detergents? Have you switched your soaps? I'm like, yeah, I did, you know, wash my clothes and Gain because it smelled. So she was like, you got to stop using fragrance stuff. Your body is telling you no fragrance. So she was like, use Dove White Bar, use Ivory soap, use those fragrance free or lightly fragrant. Like, the Dove White Bar has a scent, but it's not overly scented. So I can't use all that lovely, you know, smelling stuff. But ladies, you will come to understand that if you treat your yoni right, it will just have its own natural scent. And that natural scent actually smells better to men than that flower
those perfumes,
shit you want to put down there.
Coochies don't smell like flowers unless you get the Norforms. Get Norforms.
Those are bad for you. Just FYI.
I have not had issues with them.
And
honestly.
You may be okay, but women,
and I'm
know
sensitive
your body.
Down there.
Know your body, because I thought they were the best thing.
Because they're supposed to be hypoallergenic.
I thought they were amazing.
Right.
However, ma'am. Yeah. It didn't work for me. I thought they were amazing. I was like, so you mean I could smell like potpourri and just
all
stick
day?
This little thing in me? Girl, I was on it. I had boxes galore. But I realized that I like me better. I like the smell of me.
Yeah. But sometimes
because
I
kind of smell like
flower garden
nothing,
don't hurt.
But I guess it's nothing.
Everybody has their own scent.
Yeah, but it works for me.
Yeah.
I've learned to appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a little sweet smell, especially if you're taking care of yourself. I haven't used them in a while, but I mean, some people need them. I'm just keeping it real.
No, that's true. But ladies, if you have that strong odor, Norform ain't gonna fix it. I need you to go to the doctor to fix that first. You can't just stick one of them, you know, up in there and think you're gonna be good. That's gonna irritate it more, and it's gonna cause more issues. And you know, we gotta protect it because you only get one. So you don't
Only
want it to
one. It's not replaceable.
I just close up on you.
It ain't gonna close up though. Not close up though. Listen, you have me cracking up.
You know how you gotta exaggerate with the kids and tell them like they face gonna
right,
fall off.
Right, if your eyes gonna get stuck like
Exactly.
that. Have me cracking up though talking about Dove because we were at the grocery store shopping for soap. And my wife is like, oh, let me get this Dove right here. It took me until being in the shower the next day. And we always get Dove. So I didn't think anything of it. I'm in the shower and I'm bathing with my Dove. And I got down to, you know, my little special spot. And I just fell out laughing in the shower. And I'm like, you listen to my podcast, huh? She was like, you just got that Dove,
so
that
funny.
knowledge.
Yeah, my husband, all he uses is Dove White Bar. And I remember one time he washed with something else. And after we had sex, I was burning.
Yes.
And he felt so bad, but we didn't know. It was Dove, but it was that Dove for men. And, you know, it got fragrance.
That fragrance, yeah.
Girl, when I tell you I went through the motions.
That's the importance of your partner also, because if your partner, they can throw off your pH balance also, and that's going to cause issues. If you don't pee after you have sex, you're more susceptible to that particular disease. We're not dropping names yet because we have a quiz for y'all. So
absolutely,
we don't want to give you too much information.
But yeah, soaps. Whew, Jesus, that I can feel it like as if it just happened. Ooh. It was such a burning feeling. Like,
yeah,
oh
never
my
fun.
gosh.
Hot
so
crotch.
We had to not have sex for a while. I had to get that good old school apple cider vinegar and warm water and go ahead and rinse all that stuff up out of there.
Oh, baby.
And that burned the first go round.
Aww.
However, I was good in 2 days, so all was well. But
not
you
the fire crotch.
Girl, I was sticking coconut oil all up in me to
cornstarch. Cornstarch is cool.
Girl, to soothe that, I was like, oh, y'all know how I am with my coconut oil. It is. I'm just trying to tell y'all.
I got 99 problems.
Man.
And coconut oil solved all but one.
Of them. Man, I'm just trying to tell y'all. But no, seriously, you guys, it really matters because for women, yeah, we get it by soaps and detergent and everything else. But if it really turns into something, now you've just really given your partner an STD. Mm. And with men, they'll get the irritation and the burning and everything else. And then they're going to be looking at you like, who else did you sleep with? And you're going to be like, Gain. And then they're going to look at you like, who is Gain? And they're not going to understand that you're talking detergent. They're going to be like, who is Gain? And when did you meet Gain?
Right.
No, baby, the Gain in the laundry room, baby. That's all that happened.
Right.
But just some importance, you guys. But we have a quiz for you guys. Did you want to go live, Casey, and see if people want to participate in the quiz?
Yeah, let's see who's fucking with us today. Hold on. Let me get this group popping. We want to see, you know, what your STI and STD IQ is.
And we're not giving answers on the show. So we'll go live. If we get answers, great. If we don't, those of you that are not in the group, find us on Facebook. It's a Pillow Talk, Sin in the City. And we will give the answers to these things in the group. And we'll give you a lot of like facts and information and stuff like that in there too. But we just kind of wanted to have fun with you guys, see if we can do a little quiz real quick.
All right, and we're going live in 3.
Just make sure you got the camera on me.
Oops, already got you.
It's not the. It's
you
not
saw all
the
that
morning.
naturalness.
Dang it.
Hi everyone. So let's get this quiz popping here.
And I think you have the first one, right? It's this one right here.
Okay, so. Who am I is the name of this quiz. We're going to give you facts about various common and maybe not so common STIs. And I want you guys to figure out what they are. So, number 1, this is a bacterial infection, one of the most common STIs. There are no visible symptoms, and if untreated, it can cause pelvic inflammatory disease. Pelvic inflammatory disease can lead to ectopic pregnancies and infertility. This particular STI can be passed to a baby during delivery. If you do have any symptoms, they may include cervical discharge, something to look out for. It's most common in sexually active women under the age of 25. And if you're under 25 and sexually active, you definitely need to be tested for me. Who am I?
All right, so that's that one. And with that one, cervical discharge, you guys, just so you know, sometimes it can have like a spotting of a blood look almost, but it's like a pink color almost. So if you have that and if you see that, whoever this one is that we're talking about, make sure you get checked for that because it can cause some serious problems if you don't get it taken care of. So with me, some symptoms that I cause: lower abdomen pain, pelvis pain, and in men, testicle pain. In women, also, you get pain in your vagina. There's discharge. You have the frequent urge to urinate. And you can be passed to a child, or it can be passed to a child during labor as well, especially if you have vaginal birth. And then also lately, it has not been treatable. It is something that has not been receptive to medication. So who am I?
I just want to say something on that. That shows the importance of pregnant women getting tested.
Absolutely.
And your doctor's supposed to check for all of this when you are pregnant, but don't be afraid to ask him. Check everything because you don't want your child coming into the world with this stuff for something that you could have prevented and that could have been treated.
Exactly.
All right, so number 3. This particular STI consists of little parasites that attach to the coarse hair near your genitals. It's super common, not dangerous, extremely itchy, and contrary to popular belief, it's not a sign of poor hygiene or dirtiness. Symptoms start showing within 5 days of being contracted. They may consist of little blue dots that you'll see. Treatment for this includes over-the-counter gels, hear my countryness, over-the-counter gels, shampoos, liquids, and foams. Who am I?
And with that one, I can honestly say I've never met anyone who openly told me they had it. So I really only know about how guys used to be rude and tell girls they had this and think it was so funny. And I don't think the girl had it. Because you
so
talk
petty
about,
with that, though.
Because you talk about she had it, that means you have to have it. We were young.
Only if they still had it.
I think they just heard about this from hearing people talk.
Let me get her. I'm going to get her.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Ain't nobody going to want that.
That was one of the ones I heard when I was younger. It was always a joke. It was always them trying to crack jokes on some girl. And yeah, I never really knew what it was until I took a class and saw a video of what it really looks like.
I had a partner who had
some
it.
Nasty shit.
I had a partner who had it. This was before we messed around, but they told me about it. And it was they real deal. They really just be sitting there, crawling around and nut crunching and pinching.
Oh, God. Okay,
girl.
So let's go to the next Who Am I? So with this one, it seems like all of mine, honestly, there's pain in the abdomen. You have a lot of pain during intercourse. So please don't ignore that intercourse pain. It's extensive. It's serious. You can also get it from fragrance. From soaps, like I was talking about. Mm-hmm. Women, you will have a strong vaginal odor that with women that are out there, men, if you come across a woman, honestly.
And that shit is fishy.
Exactly. It may really be something wrong with her. I'm not going to say it may be. There is something wrong.
Right.
So in a polite way, tell her she want to go see a doctor, bro. Help her out. Because she may not know these things. Mama may not have taught her. Granny may not have taught her. Or she may not just know her own chemistry. So just let her know these things.
That's not normal, ladies.
And women, when you don't do this is what you do for men. So they have burning ejaculation. Ew. So there's no busting a nut during this time.
Now, that's a flamethrower right there.
It burns. It seriously burns. And they have burning urination.
Acid spray.
And they have a pain and itch inside of their penis. So their urethra is inside. So they can't get to it. So if it's itching and it's burning, there's no way for them to fix this.
Can't scratch in the
They
dick.
can't scratch in there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
And when they go get treated for it, there's this ointment they got to actually stick something through the little penis hole and, swipe it and wipe some stuff in there so that they can help that itching and burning.
And they don't like them pee holes being touched.
So, yeah, who am I?
Nasty. Fishy. Next one. As y'all can tell, I don't like fishy vaginas.
Oh. Who does?
They be talking about these tuna subs, but we don't mean literal tuna subs, not spelled backwards, tuna subs.
Or was it Jay who called it a fish pita, or was that Dwayne? Who
called it a
fish pita?
Dwayne is a riot. He is a mess, y'all. That's our Beat Network writer. Hilarious. Okay, we got one more for you. This one. There are 5 different types of this particular. Oh, no, we have 2 more. This is second to the last one. There are 5 different types of this particular STD or STI. They can each be contracted in different ways that do not include sex. It's very contagious, can be spread through infected blood, semen, and vaginal fluid. Oral and anal contact, contact with blood, or through sex with a person who has HIV. Could also be contracted by sharing a needle, razor, or even a toothbrush. How many of y'all know you could get STDs by sharing toothbrushes? That's nasty anyway. That's nasty anyway. But still, I'm just saying, some of y'all do that. You see waiting to exhale. Is this nigga using my toothbrush?
Girl,
the growling nigga?
I'd have threw the whole nigga away with the toothbrush, but the whole nigga would have had to go.
The whole nigga. Not just the toothbrush and the nigga. Hilarious. Okay, almost done. Symptoms. Symptoms include jaundice. That's the yellowing of your skin. Dark urine, mild flu-like symptoms, nausea, vomiting, and stomach pain. Who am I?
And so this one kind of touched my heart because when I'm reading about what it can do to someone and how common it is and commonly left untreated, it's serious. So with this one, I'm just going to leave you with 3, honestly, because we'll dive more into it. I kind of want to make sure I post an article for you guys in our group chat so that you can be aware. But with this one, I can cause cervical cancer, penile cancer, or anal cancer. I didn't know there was anal cancer, but it causes like anal bleeding.
I'm stuck on
anal
the penile
discharge.
cancer.
Yeah, it's serious. And throat cancer. I'm sorry, I skipped one, so I'm going to leave you with 4. Throat cancer.
It can even go to your throat.
It can go to your throat.
That's the importance of even being safe with oral. That's
so,
crazy.
Yeah, oral. Throat cancer. Like not just the throat, you got sore throat or you got some little bumps on your lip. No, this is throat cancer. So this is something that can lead to death because if your throat closes up from the swelling.
all of that,
exactly.
lose your voice, all of that.
So yeah, who am I?
Yeah. Wrapping it up.
Yes,
that's who I am. Wrapping it up.
We saved that serious one for last. That one, and just to kind of help you out, it's in the family with genital warts.
I like these topics and even, the education of this because in the gay community, I think gay men are more aware of transmission
Absolutely.
of sexually transmitted infections and diseases, but lesbians not so much so. Especially with oral, I've found that a lot of people have a misconception that diseases and infections cannot be spread through oral sex. But anything where bodily fluids are being exchanged or where you can be subjected to open wounds or cuts, there's room for infection to get in.
And if let's just say you brushed your teeth real good in the morning, you accidentally brushed and made your gums bleed, you now have, it's open. Mm-hmm. You go and have oral sex with someone who has an STD, then you are more receptive to get that because that's blood exchange and body, fluids. And so just know it could be the small things, the simple things. And so it's not just intercourse, the vaginal penis. It's with lesbians. It's with, gay men. It's also with oral, as you mentioned.
Anyone who's sexually active, any kind of sexual activity, you stand the risk of contracting or transmitting a sexually transmitted infection or disease.
And you actually, we have some ways that people don't even think about as to how you can get STDs. And I'll let Casey start with a few of them that we found.
How about this one? This one, I mean, I guess it's not too surprising, but just the fact that more STDs can be transmitted by this means, lip balm, lip gloss, sharing your lipstick, sharing your lip gloss with people. One of the highest transmitted STDs or STIs by using lip balm is the 2 different types of herpes. There's 2 types of herpes for you guys who didn't know. There's herpes simplex type 1 and there's herpes simplex type 2. Type 1 is predominantly orally transmitted, and it's, the oral sores, and type 2 is typically the genital, but they can intertwine and co-mix, Ladies, stay away from those makeup testers in the stores. You go into MAC trying to sample lip gloss and Ulta, all of that. You don't know what the last lady had who stuck her fingers in that before you. So be careful with that, because if you're using it on your mouth after giving oral sex or something like that, you can transmit it that way. Now, STDs don't stay on surfaces like lip gloss and such and open air surfaces for a long period of time. but they're still there. So if it's fresh interactions and things like that and you're using it, you have an open wound on your mouth, a cold sore, a cut on your lip, you bit your lip too hard, like you said, brushing your teeth, you're making yourself vulnerable.
Absolutely. So just get a tub of Vaseline that you can, share in case somebody asks.
Or that Carmex jar,
So for my fellas, your beards.
Dun, dun, dun.
Man, I was like, what?
Dun, dun, dun. All these beard lovers. Ooh, you got to get a beard.
We had to bring this one up because beards is just in right now.
Poppin'.
Like, if you ain't got a beard, you doing something wrong. Like,
You
beards
ain't got
is
a beard,
it.
then you ain't popping,
But men, like, one of the Who Am I's that Casey talked about, your beard is like fair game.
Infested.
And so you might want to always make sure your partner's clean before you dive in. Not everybody's pie is edible. So just make sure you be careful with that. Also, make sure you wash your beards. Bacteria lives in hair a lot. Like, that's why women wash their hair. That's why women, when you wash it down there and you got hair, you got to really kind of give it a nice lather on the surface. I'm not saying go all up in, you're not supposed to do all that. But on the surface,
get the scalp too, where
you
that
got to
stuff is
scrub
festering.
it. Exactly. So, men, you got to do the same with that beard because y'all eat, food particles drop in there, your sweat drips in there. Like, your beard
Vaginal fluids when she right in your face.
When you're done and you take your shower, even if you just get shampoo just for your beard, they make it, just so you know. Go ahead and shampoo that beard, but get all up in there, like really wash it because you are holding a lot of bacteria and you can get whatever she had that you let her drip down into your beard. It's now in your beard.
Festering in your beard.
And so if you then go down on another woman and you haven't washed your beard, then, and you shouldn't be doing community service that way anyway, but if you do, and your beard's not
community
washed,
service, I can't with you.
then whatever's in your beard can get in her. And she may be clean as the whistle. And now you've given her an irritation, and she don't know what's going on.
Because you a nasty fuck.
Because your beard nasty, my nigga. Like, clean your beard.
And it hides stuff, like as far as like skin issues. You can't see all of that because the hair is covering it. So hygiene with those beards, very important. We know y'all ladies and y'all fellas love these beards, but
keep them clean.
Keep them tight, yes. Number 3, here's one. Oh, ladies, you're not going to believe this one. Waxing. As much as we love a pretty kitty, that waxing can be dangerous, especially if you're going to a waxing salon and they're not practicing safe, safe practices as far as how they're doing the process. If they're double dipping that stick and then rubbing it on you, that's a no-no. They're not only contaminating the wax, but whatever contamination is in that wax, they're now spreading onto you. And then think about it. When they're ripping the wax off to pull off the hair, you're susceptible to tears and cuts from that. So then you have this open wound, and then your pores are open also from them removing the hair. Hair is a barrier to help prevent STDs and such and keep you safe. So when they're ripping that off, they're just opening up the world and the wound, literally, for infections. It says that waxing removes the skin's membrane, and that membrane is used to protect from viruses and bacteria. So when that's ripped off, you're more susceptible to allow those items to enter your body. It says that the risk is especially high with Brazilian waxes. And I mean, that's what most of us are getting. We want all the hair gone because full hair removal can leave you more vulnerable to small cuts and tears. So just be careful when you're waxing. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed to ask your waxer, what's your process? Do you change the stick? Watch them. See if they're double dipping. And when you see that same stick go in that pot one more time, pull up your panties, get off that table, and find you a new waxer.
And if you ladies want to know where to go to where and I think most of them do, unless you just find somebody in the back of somebody's salon who just started or something. But all the ones that I went to, especially the ones that use hard wax, they have to change the stick because that wax dries up so quickly, they can't re-dip it. And so if you're going somewhere and they're still using soft wax, make sure you pay attention to how many times they are using those wooden sticks. And you ladies know what I'm talking about that get waxed. Those sticks, they should, if you've been to European Wax or you've been to the Pretty Kitty or you've been to the boutique, you'll see they'll take that wooden stick, they'll put that layer on you, you'll hear it fall in the trash can, and then they'll grab that next stick and put another layer on you. But you won't see them double dipping. And it's for that reason, because they've been educated. Soft wax is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Hard wax, not so much, because they don't have a choice but to switch that stick. But with the soft wax, they can put that soft wax on you and then go back in and get some more soft wax, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
so
it
just be
slides
careful
off.
with that.
You know, there's a new technique, sugaring. I want to try sugaring. I hear sugaring's better, and it's less risk than waxing. Even myself personally, I mean, I'm okay with the little hair down there. What's the movie? What is it? How high? Hair on the infield? Play ball? So I just go in the bathroom. I'll get my wife's clippers, and she'd be so mad that I use her clippers for my pubes. But I use her clippers, and I'll just do the buzz cut, you know? So then I just have a little peach fuzz. I mean, because, I mean, sometimes a bare kitty is a little preschoolish, you know? That's a sign of puberty is when she's starting to blossom, you know? So I'm okay with a little hair.
Unless you're somebody like myself, where your hair just grows out of control because you're mixed, and so your hair just grows. And I'm sure Rocky knows what I'm talking about. We've discussed this. So waxing is pretty much a must for us. However, I don't absolutely have to run back, because I don't mind there being a little bit down there. However, when I say my hair grows long, like the shit can be put in a ponytail.
Yeah.
So it has to be.
That's the power of those clippers, though.
It has to be, but I like the slipping and the sliding of the no hair. That feels, I'm sorry, I could just be sitting somewhere, and
that
those
causes
are days
STDs.
where I just don't, not with my husband.
That friction and that chafing, it can cause STDs.
Yeah,
it can.
your partner has STDs.
Well, I would hope that
me,
we're having this conversation before we're getting sexually active.
So the ladies who enjoy the waxing and they enjoy the slipping and the sliding like myself, just make sure whoever you slipping and sliding with is STD free.
I like the skin too. You know that, yeah. I'm okay with the buzz cut too, especially after reading about these waxings and such.
Okay.
About these waxings and such, like I might keep my little buzz cut going.
Well, you work it out, girl. I ain't mad at you.
You know?
But boutique, I will see y'all soon. I actually got my appointment scheduled. We're gonna go ahead and get that chocolate cherry wax session and get it going.
I still need the butt wax though. You can still do that, you know. What?
No, I want it all gone. There's no other feeling like, especially when you decide to go commando.
Oh, but when it starts to grow back, that's what gets me. Is that itching when it grows back? I hear that it stops growing back.
Yeah, it like grows in little. Like it's some areas that it'll grow back, and in some areas it just won't come back.
I've gotten waxed maybe 3 times.
And that keeps you from the itching process. Right. Because the itching is when your hair is having, that problem coming back in, and that's where you get the ingrown hairs and all that.
Right.
European Wax Center, I don't know who else has it, but
that's
European Wax Center has
the ingrown hair gel
that I use.
And that scrub.
And I have the gel, I have the lotion,
I used to have
and I have
scrub.
the exfoliant.
Yeah, and it like cakes up.
Yeah,
that's just
you
wonderful.
put that on there.
Use it on your skin too.
See,
it's amazing.
You're already set up for success.
I mean, I used to wax, but I mean, it got inconvenient, and just all the things and the rumors about waxing and all of that. And it hurts sometimes. And I'm kind of hesitant about just spreading all open. It wasn't, I think the 3rd time I did it, it wasn't as bad as the 1st and 2nd. I think I got more used to it. They say you get used to it.
But it still hurts.
It's a little painful.
I've been getting my eyebrows waxed since I don't know how long, and it still hurts.
You should do threading for your eyes.
Nope.
Well, what if they did coochie threading?
I wouldn't do it. Do you know how long that would take? I have a big area. I'd be in that damn chair
Here she
forever.
go with this big area. Okay.
I don't have time for
Listen,
that.
Okay, we got...
The little kids can do the threading. Not me.
Okay, 3 more places. Number 4, tanning beds. Tanning beds. Now, I know you guys have heard that tanning beds are a breeding ground for all kinds of bacterias and diseases. And not just any kind, those super badass ones that can resist the overexposure. What's one of them? Staphylococcus. I hope I said that right. Staphylococcus. Yeah, Staphylococcus bacteria. It's a skin infection that lives on tanning beds, fecal bacteria, the herpes virus, HPV. all of these badasses can withstand the heat of a sunbed. So think of that. You're tanning. You have all these diseases festering that have withstood these high amounts of ultraviolet rays. And then they enter your skin through the form of a cut. So say you just got freshly waxed and you have a open wound down there and you decide, okay, now I'm about to go get tanned, and the person before you wasn't so clean and the tanning salon hasn't taken the precautions necessary to clean out those beds. You just opened yourself up to the possibility of all kinds of bacteria and viruses entering into your body. Scary, right?
Good thing I don't use tannin. I'm okay with my little bitty dose of melanin.
Melanin popping.
I got enough. Now, this is one that I did know about. The tattoos and piercings.
Yeah.
Of course, the needles.
Yeah.
Do not, if you don't see them take it out of the packaging, don't let them pierce you or tattoo you. There's a certain way that they have to clean their needles. And it goes into this little packaging, and then it goes into this little machine. This machine cleans out everything. It's the same thing that they use in the medical field when they clean all of their utensils and the things that they use. They do the same thing in tattoo shops and in piercing shops. So if you just see them just pick up a needle, say, you know what, I changed my mind.
Be careful with those home tattoo artists. Y'all know they like a good deal, but
alcohol, sorry, it doesn't clean everything. It just doesn't. Not when it comes to that.
Not those badasses.
Yeah, it doesn't. And so I'm just being real. If you do tattoos at home and you do piercings at home, just something for you to invest in are those machines. And yeah, I know they cost a pretty penny. So stack up, get one, and then start,
Sterilization is key.
Because it's important. You don't want you to tattoo somebody and they come into you because they want to sue you now.
Because you didn't give them hepatitis and HIV and all kinds of other stuff.
And you also, I'm sure, didn't give them a disclaimer to sign when they came into your house, like they do at the tattoo shops and the piercing shops. So now it's on you. And you got to go ahead and take care of that pretty bill that they're about to hit you with because their skin started bumping up and now they got all these different problems and they sick and got to go to the hospital. And you was just trying to be a tattoo artist.
Or you was just trying to be cheap, getting that home price instead of taking your ass to a real shop.
That part too. But I know some people that charge shop prices at home. Yeah. So I hope with that you have everything that comes with the shop. And that's no shade. That's just trying to protect my people. And the most common things that they get are the Hep B, Hep C, HIV.
Yeah.
Because that is penetrating. You're bleeding when you get tattoos. You're bleeding when you get piercings. That's blood transfusion. Those are the worst STIs to get. Like, they don't go nowhere.
Non-curable.
That's for life.
Yeah.
So, and the other one, even though we grown, I hope nobody's still doing this shit, but dry humping.
Listen, gay bitches dry hump. I'm just saying.
Why do y'all dry hump?
I didn't say y'all. I said gay bitches dry hump. I'm not for the dry humping.
That shit
like
hurts.
That.
It hurts.
You know that clit to clit stimulation though, and that grinding.
That's not dry though.
I mean, you can do it with panties and stuff on, so then technically it's still dry.
See, when I'm thinking dry humping, I'm thinking full blown, all your clothes on, jeans, pants, just all that.
But that rubbing against each other, sometimes that feels good.
No,
I mean, you used to dry hump when you was in school. You
I just
get
used
off
to
on
hump.
that shit. No,
I just
humping.
I humped.
Fuck
Once
the
I
dry.
got curious, it was
Fuck
humping
the dry.
time.
We gonna get right to the wetness, okay?
No, I probably did like back when I was like 12, 13, something like that, real young and fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, from my knowledge, from what I can remember of the last time, it hurts.
So how does it work with the transmission and dry humping? Like how does that work?
So you know more than me because you actually educated me because that was my question to you this morning is how does that happen? And you said there's certain STDs that can kind of cling on to your undies, right?
Like HPV.
Because it's right there with your privates.
HPV.
And I said undies. You guys, I'm such a mom. I'm sorry. Your underwear.
Them draws.
Your draws.
Them draws.
Look, the mom in me came out. Your undies.
I mean, even like, I think when we were talking about it, we were talking about like even going commando or free balling and such, if you have... What's the one with the open source herpes or HPV where, you shed?
But how does it get like through to the clothes was my thing.
Well, if you ain't got on no panties or, fluids seep through, like you've been wet before. Mm-hmm. You can feel that in your pants through your panties. Even your partner, if they go.
So it would have to be like to where if you just got like y'all both got your drawers on. But like what if she had on drawers and pants?
Or what if you was at the strip club? and you
Or
was
that
at the strip
too.
club the night before, and you had Black China grinding that thing up on you,
Why
and it's
you gotta- why
contaminated.
you gotta
Because that's the
call her
first
out like
stripper
that?
that's
Damn
the
it,
first
man.
stripper that popped in my head, and she grinding that thing on you, and then she didn't just shed all of them herpes or HPV cells onto your jeans, and then you go back, you horny, you go home to your girl or whatever. She grinding on you as y'all getting into the mood, not knowing that you just transferred all of these cooties from this club over to your wife. Be careful with them lap dances too. I'm just saying.
Come home, take all your shit off, hurry up, or when you go, wear an extra pair of drawers. How about
And
that?
still wash your clothes before you get home.
Absolutely. And don't put them in a hamper with all the rest of the clothes.
Because then it's transferring.
Put them in a washing machine.
I
Wash
mean,
them bad boys.
Again, these diseases, they can't live long on open surfaces, but they can. I mean, I've heard of incidents where people are getting infected by sitting on a public toilet and they had an open sore. And so now, you got chlamydia, herpes, syphilis, something just from using a public restroom and you weren't safe. So, I mean, they can be transferred multiple ways. Now, the ways that we just went over are a little bit more rare, but it just goes to show that you can never be too safe because they can be transferred numerous ways.
And just so you guys know, I was educated on the dry humping part because I never would have thought about that because I just don't think about dry humping. I like to wet hump. But I mean, everybody's life is different. We don't know who's all listening. I mean, there may be people that are, fresh on the sex scene, and dry humping is still something that you get into. So just know you still need to be careful even when doing that.
Yeah.
Now, there was some things that I wanted to leave you guys with before we go, and I think Casey has a couple things too. But the top STDs in the United States right now, and I know they're all over the world, however, I'm in the U.S., so that's what I wanted to find out, is chlamydia, syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, and herpes. Mm-hmm. Those are the top 5, with right now, chlamydia is killing the game right now. Chlamydia is so common because it's so easily transferred, and sometimes in men, it can sit dormant, and they have no idea they have this, and it's just spread. And that goes to another thing with, the whole, I'm just going to pull out. Well, you still gave her that STD.
Or caught it.
Or got it,
or caught
exactly.
One.
And so pulling out is, may prevent the babies, but you still getting that shit. So just be careful with that. And my Black men and women. For women, the most common for us is herpes and chlamydia. And then for my Black men, it's HIV and chlamydia. The HIV is predominantly in our southern states. And that is where they saw the common trend for Black males to have the HIV. And with there being so many and us really not being aware, are you men being open and honest?
I think
with you having it?
A lot of it comes from, especially down south. I say all the time that down south, all they have to do is fuck. Because, I mean, it's so slow, and, it's not like a big city where you have so much to do. So literally all they do is lay around and have babies all the time, in my opinion. I'm probably completely biased and wrong. But that's how I feel.
You sound like a racist.
But listen, because, growing up, all of my cousins down south, they were having babies super young and all of that. And they grew up in a really small town, Delhi, Louisiana. Shout out to Delhi and all my people out there. But they were having babies young. And from my experience going out of the air, it's really small when the whole town gets together for a softball game on a Friday night. And that's the fun for the night. So I really feel like all they do is fuck. And sometimes it's a smaller community, so you feel like you know each other a little bit better. But that's when it's like a cesspool, just an infestation of sharing, and sharing is not caring when it comes to STDs. Looking in the group, I thought it was interesting when we were asking about the most common STD. Chlamydia was out there, so big ups to the people who got that right. I see gonorrhea is a popular one in there in the top 2. That was in the top 2? Was that in your top 2?
Yes, it is. No, it was in the top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have HIV, which you hit on. And then I see genital warts and herpes. Trick. BV. That's a common one too, especially with women. So that's interesting. I thought that was some pretty cool facts. Another one with herpes, it says that 20% of the women who have it don't show any, or excuse me, not even the women. of the individuals infected with it, 20% don't show any symptoms. So everyone's saying, oh, well, you'd have these blisters, you'd have sores. A lot of the times that's not the case. Another interesting fact I found about that particular STI is that there are a lot of false positives and false negatives when it comes to testing. Right. The most accurate way to know for sure if you have that is to get a swab of a lesion, get a culture done, as opposed to a blood test, which surprised me because I thought blood was the tell-all of everything, completely conclusive, indisputable. But for herpes, it gives a lot of false negatives.
It's more of a, what do they call it? Oh gosh, I'll probably have to come back to you guys, but they call it something, and that's why you have to get the swab of the lesion, because it sits in the surface. It doesn't more so attack your bloodstream.
And it says that a lot of people, a good majority of the population, already have antibodies for HPV and herpes simplex virus, HSV, in their systems. So that's another reason why it'll come back with the false positive, because you already have these antibodies in your system. And so they need to swab the lesion to see how active and how present it is, to see if it's really this, or, hey, you just have a small case of oral herpes, HSV1.
Right, like for those who get like those cold sores and stuff like that.
But that can be transferred vaginally.
It can be if you decide to. But if somebody got a nasty sore on their mouth and you just let them do that,
but people always don't think that cold sores are like that. And
no, I do. They look gross.
I've seen, but growing up, like, all the little white girls and stuff, they always had those. And like, you're 12, 13, you're not 8 years old even, and you're not having sex yet, I would hope. So where did this come from? But it's a virus that's already in their body.
My sister used to get cold sores a lot. Like every time she got sick, she would get one. My daughter too, when she would get sick, she got one. And so when we went to the doctor, he was just like, that's just something that's in your bloodstream. You're always going to have it. Right. However, you can grow out of it.
True.
Now my daughter, I never see her with them. I don't see my sister with them. Like, they just grew out of it. But it was something they had when they were younger. So
but the antibodies are still in their system.
Yeah, the antibodies are still there. But it's actually in all of us. It just all depends on how strong we are to fight it off.
Correct.
Or if it's going to come about. Because I saw that my Oma used to get them a lot, the cold sores. Every time she got sick, she got a cold sore. And that's why we called them cold sores. So I didn't know it was herpes until I got older, because I thought it was just, oh, you sick. So your body gave you a sore. Like, that's just
fever blister, something like that.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that form, from what I've been taught, it is completely different. It is not, like you said, it's not a form of STD. It was something that they were born with, and it's just the way that their body reacts to certain things. And so it can be transmitted and turned into something different.
Vaginal,
but that person,
genital herpes.
That person that you're with has to have that trait in order for it to become a sexually transmitted disease.
That's scary, because you figure you're dealing with two people who have these HSV antibodies in their system. One has the cold sores. Say the cold sore, it hasn't erupted yet, so you don't have that physical blister. But there's a dormant phase where, as the sore is coming, and you feel like that tingling from what I read and such, and it's coming. At that point, it's contagious. And they don't know it's coming, or you don't see it because you don't feel the symptoms or the tingling that they experience. They go down on you, give you head, and now this has been transferred over to you because you carry the HSV antibody. That's scary. That's very scary. So now we need to test people for oral herpes too now?
Well, like I said, the only way someone with the oral herpes, the ones that are born with this trait, the only way that they can transfer it sexually is if their partner already has herpes and may just be unaware because they haven't had an outbreak. So it would cause an outbreak, but it wouldn't just flat on give them herpes.
See, I've heard otherwise.
Well, I asked the doctor also, because I wanted to know. God bless his soul, rest in peace. Dr. Doyne, he was my doctor since I was born.
Doyne Medical on Bonanza.
We used to have serious conversations. Once he knew that I was sexually active, and he's that doctor where I was open, and I was like, look, I got 3 partners at this time. So I was very open with him, and he would talk to me about different STDs. That's when I learned about herpes in all its many forms. And that's when I learned about how common and easy it was to get chlamydia and syphilis. And he was the doctor that told me to do birth control and gave me condoms to take home so that I can have these things. He was a caring doctor. They don't make them like that no more. He was old school.
Right.
But he was the one that I had this conversation with. And I think from his knowledge, unless things have changed in life, I believe him. However, because the man,
but those
doctors
diseases are
used to have to
evolving.
really know what they were talking about, not like these new age doctors where they can Google some shit and write you a prescription and then it's out the door. He was thorough. He met with all of his patients. Your visit was going to be about an hour because y'all was going to talk.
Chlamydia and gonorrhea used to be curable at one point. So these diseases are taking on a whole
evolving.
new...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not in the dating scene.
Thank God.
Man, I don't want to ever go back to
At
it.
all. It's so scary.
Because the fact that these things are getting stronger.
And people aren't open
And
or
I
honest.
mean, it's getting stronger. Honestly, I'm just going to put it out there. It's the government. But a lot of these
They
new
put AIDS
diseases
out here. They
and
fucking us up.
all these strong and now it can't be cured. No, that's just for you to have to take more medication. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we're not dumb. So you guys wrap it up, smoke weed, put turmeric in your tea, and use coconut oil. And that should be a starter kit to be to be okay. But if you do have something, let's get back to where we were before we end the show. Communicate.
But how do you have that conversation?
So it may not be comfortable. So before you even dive in, invite them over for dinner or something. Don't do we need to talk. Because that right there already sets them up.
Already.
So do like a dinner and don't go out to dinner. You don't want people in your business. Invite them over for dinner on the night y'all supposed to do this, whatever. But you need to give them the choice. This goes for him or her.
Yes.
And you have to find a way to gently bring it up. You can ask them, when was the last time you got tested?
Yes.
They may say they never have.
Problem.
And then right then you can say, well, I have.
And this is what
I
happened.
have. Or this is what I've had. So if you have this, it's easier for me to get it. So I need you to tell me that you have this so we can make sure we both treat whatever needs to be treated and, have good sex. If they're not receptive, let's just say you have herpes, like your friend you were talking about, and you decide to let them know. Now, you guys, herpes is one of the most, I guess, it sucks to have it, but you can still live a normal life with herpes. You truly can if you get it taken care of and you do what you're supposed to do.
And you treat it.
They say the only time it is transferable is when you have an outbreak and you decide to have sex
But they
unprotected
have pills
with
that
the
stop
outbreak.
the outbreaks, correct?
Exactly. So if you're taking your medication, you are open and honest with your person, then you shouldn't have any problems and you should be able to live a normal life. Now, if you have something as serious as HIV, I met one person in my whole entire life that had HIV. And he said that his partner knew he had HIV. And they just are, I guess he's taking really strong medications, whatever. But he gave her the choice. And he got it from someone who didn't tell him. And so he didn't know he had it until he went to get his physical, got tested for everything. And boom, hey, you got HIV.
Shut the fuck up.
And he was already 22 years old when he found out.
Wow, so young at that.
He was 22. And
young people, you are not immune.
But he's married now. And they have
he got
kids,
married
and
after
their
the
kids
fact?
do not have HIV.
You cannot, they have medication that prevents it from being spread in utero.
And so his wife does not have HIV. And I don't want to say it's easy, but it's doable. Not everybody is going to accept it. I'm sorry, they're not.
So he found love after being infected?
Yes, after.
Or finding out he was infected?
He was open with it, though. But he stayed single for a long time because he was like, nobody's going to want me. Yeah, because I got AIDS and nobody's going to, want to be. I'm like, no, you don't have full-blown AIDS. You have HIV. So I don't want you walking around telling yourself you have AIDS. Like, that just it's a difference. And yours is treatable, and you're good, and you're well, and you're living, and you're active. Being active also helps when you're living with something like HIV, and eating good, and making sure you're taking
yourself.
Yes, you take care of yourself. Your body will take care of you. And I'm not saying that it's not going to go away.
No,
but you can still live a good life, and so it's not an easy conversation, but you have to have it. It's not fair to the other person not to know.
No, because just with you got it somehow, and that probably the chances are. The person who gave it to you didn't tell you.
Exactly.
So why do somebody else that discourtesy? I think the best sex is open sex where you're communicating and you know what's going on, what your partner's been through. When I was looking at it, because I was curious, I did some research on, how to have the conversation with your partner. And one of the key points I saw was not to pass blame. Mm-hmm. So don't start it with, oh, my ex gave me this.
Yeah, no, just talk about what you have.
Instead, this is what I have. This is how it works. educate your partner about the ins and outs and the treatment and how it's contracted and how you can prevent spreading it from each other. Because I think that's the most compassionate thing you can do is to share that with someone and give them the option.
They'll ask you, how'd you get it? Yeah. Then it'll come out. Then you can say, well, my partner, you don't have to give names. My partner at the time had it and didn't tell me. Right. And I got it.
And on the flip side, if you're with someone who's sharing their sexual history with you,
be compassionate.
Absolutely. Don't be judgmental. Don't be listen, because it took a lot for them to open up and even share that with you. And that goes to show the magnitude and the level of compassion and how important you are to them, for them to even open up and share something as intimate and as stigmatized as having a sexually transmitted disease or infection.
So with all that being said, you guys, I just want to let you know that numbers don't matter. You could have slept with one person. You could have slept with 101 persons.
Only takes one time.
It only takes one time to get an STD. And that's why I wanted to start with the whole, is there a number? Is so many too many? Because a lot of people who get an STD are automatically deemed a hoe. And this may not be the case. They may have been sleeping with the same person their entire life, but this person decided to step out. And now they're living with whatever, they got from the outside world.
The mistake of being loyal to someone who wasn't.
Exactly. So you guys have the whole definition, I guess, of being a hoe just wrong. There are sexually active people that may just be a little bit more active than the next.
Promiscuous does not mean a hoe.
If they fucking for free, they're not hoeing. Like, there's no monetary transaction. So I know I'm being real, because we're taking away from the hoes that's really out there hoeing, and they doing their thing. So
they worked for that
title. So you can't call everybody a hoe. A hoe to some people may be a damn compliment. So I'm just saying, there are some that are more active than the next. And so when people ask, how many partners do you have, don't be, I guess, taken back by the number. If they give you a number, ask them, when was the last time you were tested?
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
Were you safe?
Because there are people that have slept with triple digits.
But wrapped it up each and every time.
Wrapped it up, kept their checks on the regular, got everything taken care of, made sure their partners were safe.
Yes.
And they're good.
Yes.
They're living in these streets squeaky clean. So are they hoes? No, because they didn't get paid for these transactions. So I just need y'all to stop throwing that whole word around. I like experience. I am experienced.
Seasoned.
Like Medea said, this is experience, honey.
USD Prime seasoned.
I'm just trying to say, don't nobody want no inexperienced shit. You can say you want a virgin, but you don't. Like, you don't, because then you're going to have to learn her.
And teach her
And I didn't
everything.
say teach, you have to learn her. And that's just the way it's going to have to be. So I just want y'all to be real with yourselves. Stop disrespecting people that decide to explore their sexuality.
Yeah.
If they're doing it the right way and you ask them to go get tested and they're willing to go with you, that's all that should really matter. Unless she ain't got no more walls, then, it is what it is.
They got surgery for that.
There's vaginal rejuvenation for that. So I'm just saying.
They got surgery for that. So
y'all just lucky y'all dicks can't fall off or something, because y'all be sticking and sticking and sticking. But there's no way for us
They shrivel up, and they might as well have fallen off. The stuff that y'all can get, it's equivalent to your dick falling off.
Well, the STDs, but I'm saying for women, if they just got the type of vaginas that don't have strong walls, your walls get knocked down. It don't feel the same when you go in.
No bounce back.
If they don't kegel it out.
Y'all better get them kegels.
It's a little different.
High five.
But no, seriously, guys, we appreciate you guys. I really hope that each and every person in our Pillow Talk group listens to this episode.
Please
I hope that you
safe.
Share it as much as possible, because we tried to make this sex talk, this STD talk, fun but educational at the same time. Even if you have someone who's 17, 18, on their way to college, and they're going to college somewhere popping,
get tested.
Have them listen to the show, because we made it fun and comfortable. You don't got to have that conversation. Let us have the conversation with them.
Know your status.
Absolutely. But it's been real, you guys. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. And until next time, this your girl, Truth.
And Miss JaKCson, if
and
you're
this
nasty.
Is Pillow Talk.
You can't just cut off the nasty, okay?
You're not nasty. This ain't a nasty talk. And look, you can leave all of that
it was kind of nasty, though, talking about all of this. It can get nasty. So please be safe.
And that's how we close out our shows, y'all. Bye.